1. Hook. Imagine it's 2 a.m., your app goes down, and your users are panicking. How do you debug an AWS issue quickly and effectively? 2. The real problem. AWS is powerful, but it can also be overwhelming. You might have multiple services interacting, logs scattered across different platforms, and no clear indication of where the problem lies. As a beginner or startup engineer, this situation can be stressful. You don't have the luxury of time or a large team to help you. So, how do you tackle this effectively? 3. The simple explanation. Debugging an AWS issue means systematically identifying the problem, isolating the cause, and implementing a solution. The key is to break down the process into manageable steps. You'll want to focus on 3 main areas: monitoring, logs, and testing. Use AWS CloudWatch to keep an eye on metrics. AWS CloudTrail and CloudWatch logs are your best friends. Always validate changes in a safe environment. 4. Real-world example. Let's consider a startup called QuickCart, which provides an online shopping platform. One night at 2 a.m., they receive alerts from users that the checkout process is failing. QuickCart uses AWS Lambda for its serverless backend, and they've integrated it with DynamoDB for database management. Suddenly, their Lambda function is timing out after 3 seconds, leading to failed transactions. The team quickly checks AWS CloudWatch and notices that the function is hitting a timeout limit. They had set a 3-second timeout for the Lambda function, believing it would be sufficient. However, during peak hours, the function was processing requests in about 4 seconds due to increased traffic. The outcome? Users were frustrated, and conversions dropped by 30% during that critical period. They had to act fast to resolve the issue. 5. What to do instead? Now, let's break down the steps QuickCart could take to avoid this situation or react more effectively. 1. Gather information. Start with monitoring tools like CloudWatch. Check metrics for error rates and latency. Identify if the issue is widespread or isolated. 2. Check logs. Access CloudTrail to view recent API calls. Look at CloudWatch logs for your Lambda function. Identify the exact error messages. Are they timeouts, 500 errors, or something else? 3. Assess resource limits. Review your service limits, such as Lambda execution time and DynamoDB read/write capacity. Increase Lambda timeout to at least 6 seconds for higher traffic periods. For DynamoDB, consider scaling your read/write capacity or switching to on-demand mode. 4. Isolate the problem. Test your Lambda function in the AWS console with sample payloads. Simulate traffic using tools like Apache JMeter to see how it behaves under load. 5. Implement and test solutions. Make necessary adjustments based on findings. Increase timeout or optimize code. Deploy changes in a staging environment first, if possible. Monitor the changes in real time. 6. Communicate. Keep the team updated on progress. Notify users once the issue is resolved. 6. Common mistakes. Let's discuss 5 common mistakes engineers make while debugging AWS issues and how to avoid them. 1. Ignoring monitoring tools. Not using CloudWatch effectively. Set up custom dashboards and alarms for critical metrics. 2. Overlooking logs. Not checking logs frequently. Always have a log retention strategy. Set up alerts for specific error patterns. 3. Not testing changes. Deploying changes without thorough testing. Use the staging environment to validate all changes before production. 4. Underestimating resource needs. Setting resource limits too low. Analyze traffic patterns and adjust thresholds accordingly. Always allow for a buffer. 5. Failing to communicate. Keeping findings and updates to yourself. Use tools like Slack or Teams to keep everyone informed. Transparency is key in a crisis. 7. Quick checklist before you start debugging. Ensure you have this checklist handy. Check CloudWatch for metrics. Review CloudTrail logs. Assess Lambda and DynamoDB limits. Test in a safe environment. Communicate with your team. 8. Summary plus CTA. Debugging AWS issues at 2 a.m. doesn't have to feel like a nightmare. With a systematic approach, you can quickly identify and resolve problems. Remember to monitor, analyze logs, and test your solutions. Avoid common pitfalls by proactively managing resources and communicating effectively. If you found this guide helpful, leave a comment below with your own AWS debugging experiences. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical tech insights. Bonus practical tip: if you're unsure what to pick, start with the simplest option that ships today. Then measure for 7 days, latency, errors, deploy time, and cost. Only upgrade when metrics force the decision, not fear.